reacting positively to that, reacting positively generally. Charles Moon, senior equity trader at Trading Advantage, joins us right now. Charles, a lot of people have shifted from buy dips to sell rallies. We're getting rally this morning. We had a bit of one yesterday. Which camp are you in?
I'm more on the downside here. Leading into 2016, we actually saw that weakness. We saw the selling and the actual positioning into the calendar year. I did the same thing myself. And of course, the first, trading year of the calendar year, we had historic numbers, right? Historic losses. Huge downsides. Markets actually tried to rally during that weekend. It was immediately sold off. Of course, the issues in China didn't help. Circuit breakers triggering, down 7% on 2 specific days. And, one of the sessions, they cut it off a half hour into the session. So we've seen the market weakness, and I just believe that this is going to be a very difficult year, 2016, for the buy-only investor.
So for the buy-only, but you are playing the short side. Are you playing short-long, or are you mostly short?
I am mostly short. I have picked and chosen, and that's what I believe that buy-only investors are going to have to do, certain specific pockets of opportunity. There was one that we got in. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. It was McDonald's, MCD. It dipped back. It came to the 50-day moving average. It was a key technical level. It found immediate support. I decided to get in when I saw some institutional buying. It was very little limited risk to the downside and a decent upside potential. But again, I'm only looking at it in a short-term fashion. The downside here in my shorts, I'm looking to sit here and hold. Of course, I'm going to adjust my stops on the way and try to lock in profits. But that's where I just believe the best opportunity is going to be, both in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term this year.
And just by the way, you mentioned McDonald's. Some consider it a defensive name. It started to move in the fourth quarter, but we're seeing some strength in names like Walmart, for example. Some of the defensive names are getting some love. Is that where you want to look if you're going to be long in that kind of defensive space?
Absolutely. I love Walmart, by the way. We tried to get in. We absolutely missed it. It just didn't pull back enough, and then it obviously exploded and moved up higher off of these lows. And that's what you're going to look for. You're going to look for stocks that have been somewhat beaten down but offer a tremendous amount of value, and all of a sudden you start seeing a big rush of buying, and it's basically in a streamline up. You're not seeing any severe volatile dips that are coming into play. But I'm not trying to sit here and buy into these highs, especially in a lot of these high flyer stocks that have made these significant moves in 2015, and now we're starting to sense some panic in the buyers and some aggressive positioning by sellers. I'm looking for the ones that are beaten down, that offer up a lot of value, very limited downside risk, and of course that has the momentum behind it.
There's some interesting ETFs you're looking at, including the ProShares Ultra Short. QID is the symbol. It looks like a double short. When they put Ultra in the name, there seems to be some leverage and some expectations of doing better than even the short side of the. People have been killed in these ETFs in the past year. Is 2016 going to be the year for them?
I believe so. I believe that people are going to try to run to these because they're afraid of the volatility in the stocks. But now we're starting to see the volatility come into these actual ETFs. Here another great one is UVXY, and of course that's the short-term VIX futures product. And of course, when the market was slamming down, this was a component that made a 7-handle move out of nowhere, of course, based on the weakness. Whenever the markets get weak, usually the VIX starts to rally. And, if people were looking into this product, it was actually a cheap product at one point, but of course it exploded to the upside. And that's where we're going to have to see, buy-only investors, again, may not have that opportunity in the actual outright stocks. They may have to look at these inverse plays. And same thing on the downside. People are a little nervous, let's just say, to take on the actual component of, say, biotech. So they can look into the ETFs for biotechs, maybe cybersecurity. That's another one that's been fairly weak here in recent days that you can look into and actually take on that component with very limited risk, but a pretty nice opportunity.
That UVXY went from round numbers 25 to 85 in August when we had that last correction. A lot of people use gold, though, as an opportunity. Gold's been getting a bit of a bid. Do you like it or not?
I like the longer-term potential. I believe that this is where we're starting to see that actual bottoming coming into play. And, you know, people suspected that at the $1,400 mark in gold futures and the $1,200 mark. And now, of course, we came to a key price range, which is right on that $1,000 level. And, of course, that is pretty significant. We actually saw some future fund managers really start positioning themselves. But we saw the same thing, you know, taking place in oil. I don't believe the bottom is in oil yet, but I believe that the bottom is starting to form in gold. I like the opportunities. You know, again, when we talk about value in the markets, you know, and components or stocks catching a bid, this might be where you're going to look. Of course, we're going to have to watch the U.S. dollar and see how that plays out. We're going to have to watch the actual markets and, of course, the emerging markets across the world. But I just believe there's an opportunity. NUGT, Nugget, that's one that's been in a congestion range. It actually failed at congestion highs and retraced back. It looked like more of a buy trap, but if it ends up breaking through that resistance level and finds immediate support, I'm looking for that breakout. I'm looking to take advantage of that opportunity.
NUGT, we're showing it to our viewers right now. Charles, thank you very much. Have a good trading day.
Thank you, Francis.
Trading Advantage.